You know what particulates are? Particulates are energies that begin to manifest, just like you take a photograph, but it happens on a more actual plane. If you take a body of people and condition them to think a certain way, they start creating particulates. They actually affect the atmosphere. And what they think eventually manifests.
Many lies been told, many files been held, many books been burned. Can't know thyself unless you look deep within yourself like a well and activate your DNA, activate your cells, activate your higher self, keep the lower dormant. I rep Temple 5, known as subordinate to Grand Major Temple. Drew between my temple, for my mental AC chambers when I enter. 7 is perfected, 9 is complete. The womb is the first school, her lap is my seat. In the alchemy, I'm raising chakras with heat. Red is the lowest, I'm indigo deep. Olokun deep, it's water when I flow like Niagara or like your weak bladder. Islam, I self-law and master. Matriarch though, not a patriarch bro. After a blunt, get my red off, not cock and let off. Acting like Cain, take my brother's head off. Running from the servant, hopping over fences. My people stinking is of the most densest. Call them hard-headed, not too spiritual. Angel took the key, left in a light vehicle. Ancestors told you, white Jesus told you. You sit back and laugh and do as Rome do. So get burnt to ashes, I'm cleaning out the madness. I hate 2-earring, pink shirt wearing faggots. Frontin' like an MC with no DJ, no dancer, no hieroglyphics get sprayed. $1 million beats to talk mad garbage. Get pressure point to death by Mufti sergeants. Get the pioneer ram hard by the vanguard. First and lieutenant, they just stand guard. Probably on the square or left foot first. Let me chill now cause I bless this verse. Probably on the square, left foot first. Let me chill now cause I bless this verse. We exist, fusing material with our visual. Crafting tools for the physical, building schools for the spiritual. We exist. We exist. We exist, fusing material with our visual. Crafting tools for the physical, building schools for the spiritual. We exist. We exist. You thought I was finished, the battle just begun. I don't have a deal, so I won't rhyme about guns. They call me New Age, cause I am the sun they worship on the equinox and solstice. 12 tribes is what the horoscope is, know this. I'm a nigga as a river, I can't be flowless. Playing the blame game, get off your emotions. Cure self without prescriptive doses. If I must, I flush with natural potions. Crash on the devil like shores and oceans. Engulf like Cali, devour when I rally. In tens and thousands, meant to dead get tally. Call them 85ers, nah, 99ers. Stuck in some 60s, math is not the science. Most just parrot, vote by the ballot. Stupid health freaks got bacon in their salad. Secret handshakes, speaking in code. Masons use emblems to travel on the road. Never get a ticket, the brotherhood is deep. With 33 degrees, they control the sheep. Control the masses, the strong and the weak. With orange and red warnings, fear is the speech. Push through pointed hat, robes and sheets. Grand serpent get grand hex from grand sheiks. Walk right, see the serpent stress. Fall to the goddess feet for talking mess. On black targets, police shoot heads, not the chest. Follow the stupid niggas walking in a vest. We exist, fusing material with our visual. Crafting tools for the physical, building schools for the spiritual. We exist. We exist. We exist. We exist. We exist, fusing material with our visual. Crafting tools for the physical, building schools for the spiritual. We exist. We exist.
September 1960, Galileo brought a vial of the poison to the Congo with plans to place it on Lumumba's toothbrush. See, now you see that when you start talking that talk and you start walking the walk the same way how they arrested Jomo Kenyatta and threw him in prison, the same way how they arrested Nelson Mandela and threw him into prison, the same way how they took Lumumba and sent him into prison. They are taking these men who are a threat to any sort of colonial regime and they're taking them and locking them up and putting them in prisons. However, if you notice that their movements and their vision were bigger than themselves and they had, and they were able to grab the attention of the hearts and the minds of the people, and the people all gathered around and they centered their minds on the vision that these brothers actually put out, which led them to be able to continue that same vision that they had once these brothers were incarcerated. And that ultimate vision was the liberation of the people, and they knew that the only way that they had to establish this was bloodshed. It wasn't no disagreement about if Lumumba should go to motherfucking the Belgians and beg them for freedom. At that point, the Africans knew that that was not an option. And that is why it is so imperative that we are able to look at these examples of the African liberation movement and then apply it to what we want to do. Because as long as we allow brothers to recklessly spew the rhetoric of filing paperwork in a court system that isn't ready to listen to a damn thing we have to say and hasn't listened to a damn thing that we had to say, then we will continue wandering around in that conundrum of that maze of thinking that we're getting somewhere, but we're only spinning our wheels. And that is why the people who are filing these paperwork, they're no threat.
Keep in mind that Negro, black, and color people that don't file paperwork or try to file paperwork are the ones that European doesn't respect. There are numerous amounts of Moors who use paperwork, who have presented paperwork that get their stuff dismissed, no matter what the charges is. There's Moors on gun charges in Canaanland that got off of gun charges because they presented their nationality. Matter of fact, why don't we just go to our good brother so he can prove to you how it's supposed to go down when you deal with these so-called Europeans that all of these so-called Negroes are so scared of, right? All they want to do is kill crackers, but they never killed one. All they want to do is kill the white man, but they never killed one, but they would never face them unless it's on some rally, whatever, when they have numbers. Let me find me one Negro, black, colored, conscious coon out there that could post a video like this showing their interaction with the highwayman and them not getting their ass kicked or getting arrested. Please, anybody, find me a black conscious coon. Anyone, from anybody that's been on Sonetter TV, any of the Hebrew Israelites, any of the Black Power, whatever they call themselves, Rastafarian, Nuwapian. Just find me anybody, one. Just find me one individual that stood up to a highwayman and didn't get their ass kicked or didn't get arrested or didn't get a ticket. Find me one.
Good morning.
How you doing, brother?
Officer Elwood, Metropolitan Police Department, First District.
Right.
What I stopped you was you made an improper U-turn.
A U-turn. I be seeing them do the same thing. Even y'all do the same thing, bro.
Well, that's why we're out here to educate. Absolutely.
Okay.
So, driver's license.
Well, I don't drive. I'm a national Moor. This is my nationality papers. I have, and you're being recorded as we both are being recorded for both our safety.
Sure. No, please.
I don't use driver's license because it's a fraudulent instrument. I'm a national Moor. I'm a sheik. I come out here to work the land. I just got a little bit of metal out here that I'm just going to the scrap yard. I say again, I did a U-turn. I did U-turn. I apologize about that. Please forgive me. But this is my wife's car.
Okay.
But I am Supreme L. I'm just out here working the land. I apologize about the U-turn. I do it all the time. Even the park police do it. I follow him on 1 or 2 times.
Okay.
And I actually got him recorded doing that one time.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I'm saying I do admit that I did do that, and I apologize about it. I'm just trying to go to work on the land, bro.
Okay. Do you have any driver's license?
I don't drive. I travel. A driver license is a fraudulent instrument, so I use my papers, my national papers, to freely move across the land.
Wonderful. If you sit tight, I'll be back.
I sure will, bro. Yes, sir. Now they're coming back to the car. One is on one side and the other is on the other side, and they're coming back to the car. And he's going on one side and the other one is on this side.
So I have to give you 2 options. One is you can park the car and you could come get it. You're very close to the scrapyard.
Can I at least get down there to take the stuff out to get that up? I need to feed my babies, bro.
I respect that 120%. And you know what? They even have parking over there.
Okay,
So what we can do is we can park the car over there.
Okay.
And then if you could have someone come get it.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's if you do continue to drive. You know.
Well, I'm not driving. I travel, but I still have those language you gotta get. Hey, you're a good brother. I appreciate you. While he's on phone, Officer S.A. Element and badge number 4642. He's treated me with respect, so I gotta give that. So if I do,
I have papers back.
Thank you, sir.
So everything you gave me has been returned.
Okay.
And I'd love to see you, get your scrap into the yard. And they do have parking over there.
Okay,
so
okay.
And if you could have someone come.
All right. Well, I'm at the. Can you allow me to travel over there, at least park it and get my stuff
Oh,
out?
absolutely.
My man, you're a good brother. You're a good brother, man.
Absolutely. So yeah, if you decide go over there, just be careful with the one-way streets here.
Okay. What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to go through the yard and come out on the other side and park right there, right across. Thank you, brother. You're a good man. God bless you, brother.
Likewise.
See, now that's a good way to move, and that's proof. And here goes my paperwork. No license, no driver's license, no nothing. All right. This is Supreme L, testimonial. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm still driving or traveling. I'm still traveling, y'all. I'm still traveling. They cannot hinder your travel. You cannot hinder your mode of travel. I just got pulled over by District of Columbia peace officers all 45 minutes ago. And I'm still traveling, family. All right. Peace and love, boys.
This is real life to me. You ain't playing with me, yo. You can't come around and play a role on me. If you're not for me, you're against me. Beat it. You know? So this lady's not there of all the days, and this guy's saying, oh, they don't know where it is. Of all the days, she's not here. Then the head crown, Nancy Kriegers, tries to pass the case at that point, at the end of it, to somebody else. And that person must have said no, because in the end, Nancy had to do it. So it's just funny what's going on. Anyways, Justice Clement, in his closing submission, he stated that the peace officer, the mercenary, Lambie, had no right to arrest me because I did provide a proper piece of ID. The judge further stated that Officer Lambie was blinded by misinformation he obtained off YouTube about free man on the land movement. I mean, you can watch the video, he still made that statement, and then he seen my ID and still proceeded with what he did. And he stated, if a peace officer asks for a driver's license, and an individual does not have one, the peace officer must ask for an alternate ID, piece of ID. And according to Justice Clement, and according to case laws is other cases that have been ruled on, an ID must only have the name and address, domicile, on it. Nothing more, nothing less. So in other words, my temple card, which has my picture on it with my domicile, my complexion, everything's on it. Everything's on it. It's more than enough. So on that basis alone, everything got thrown out. And we know, I sent in, you guys know I sent in the writs, I'm pretty sure, Justice Clement.
Oh, just so you're clear, When he says he sent in the writs, writs mean paperwork. That this same joker, Shakem whatever, is saying, oh, paperwork don't work, that don't mean nothing.
Knows, you know, what I stood on. I ordered the transcript of his closing statement so he could get exactly what he said. And you know, if you need to, I'll get you copies. You know, just holler at me. But
so it's clear that paperwork works. This is not some oh, Moors are just doing, and Moors are, and they don't respect whatever. I showed you 2 instances. 2. He hasn't showed you any instance. Showed you 2 instances of Moors who say they have a nationality card or paperwork and using that to get out of their case that they were in. Where's his nationality card that says that his name is Shakem Amenhotep Akhet? I want to see that. I am challenging you, Shakem Amenhotep Akhet. Make a video just like you made this video and put your status on the record. I want to see identification created by you that has that name on it, and go somewhere and use that identification to prove that you have a status called Shakem Amenhotep Akhet. Until you show that, you're just a fraud, another nigger out here with, you know, a little bit of knowledge. So you have some drops of knowledge in the ocean of cognizance, and you think that you know something. Please stop it.
You see the niggas walking in the courtroom? What's happening? Niggas getting hit with the taser. Sir, Your Honor, going back and forth with the judge. You don't have jurisdiction over me, sir. Yes, I do. No, you don't have jurisdiction over me. Yes, sir. All right. Bailiff, lock his ass up. You don't got no jurisdiction? Okay. Well, you sleeping there tonight. Matter of fact, I'm going to give you 6 years, and then we'll see who got jurisdiction in this motherfucker. See, so when you start getting into a pissing contest with a war of words, man, you already gonna lose. That's why with the African liberation movement, you did not see the bullshit that's going on here in the U.S. today. You saw motherfuckers taking it to the street with guns and amassing armies.
Taking it to the street with guns. Let's see if they took it to the street with guns. Let's just double check.
Fille de Patrice Lumumba.
Le contexte de l'époque faisait que quand on était vraiment un nationaliste et qui aimait son pays et que les mots d'ordre, bon, que tous les politiciens disaient indépendance, liberté, liberté économique, indépendance économique et tout ça, c'est qu'il y croyait vraiment. Et les gens se sont rendus compte que ce n'était pas uniquement des slogans électoraux ou bien pour avoir des voix, mais que c'était un homme. À partir d'un certain moment, on ne pouvait pas composer avec lui sur l'indépendance de son pays et sur certains principes qu'il a érigés. Et je pense que c'est pour cela qu'on a vu toute cette coalition, parce qu'il n'y avait pas que la presse, il y avait aussi l'Église qui a été aussi très pugnace et très dure vis-à-vis de Patrice Lumumba aussi. Et même pour d'autres politiciens qui avaient aussi lancé les mêmes mots d'ordre, qui avaient dit aussi les mêmes choses, mais ils n'ont pas été attaqués de la même façon.
So there's his daughter telling you. Why was it that the Belgians got so mad at Patrice Lumumba? Why were they mad? Were they mad because of fighting? Because of they had guns? Because of no? Why were they mad? Because of his speech that he wrote. A speech. That's why the Belgians assassinated him. They didn't assassinate him because he was trying to create some revolution in the Congo. They assassinated him the same reason why they assassinated JFK, because he was bringing the republic back. Go check the record. Why is Congo a republic if they're not following the governmental policies, practices of a Republican form of government, which means it's run by the people, not by the ones who are in the seats of so-called power? But if you let dumb Negroes tell it, they're going to tell you anything to make you go out there with guns and get your ass shot up by these foreigners in your own land. Instead of letting you know the truth about your nationality and birthrights so you can correct your mindset, which is going to correct your conditions outside of you, because everything is mental. If his name is Shakem, whatever, Amenhotep, whatever, that means he's Kemetic. If he's Kemetic, he knows the 7 Hermetic principles, which one of those 7 Hermetic principles is that everything is mental. So what are you doing with guns if you're Kemetic? Everything's mental. What you got guns for? Oh, so I guess you don't trust in your ancient foremothers and forefathers' divine creeds. So, since you don't trust in them, you're going to go follow the European and go get guns. You know we never had guns as Asiatics, right? You know we never had weapons and we never fought on that level. You know we would beat a drum and have people running. You know that we would call on the ancestral forces. We would stick an axe in the ground so it doesn't rain. We would stick a spear in a tree to keep certain animals away from our territory or campground that our tribe is domiciling on. So you guys could keep playing these games that you have some type of military power. You guys are punks. You haven't even killed a cracker yet. How you haven't killed a cracker and you're talking about telling people to go out there and fight and all that? You guys need to stop this. Nationality is the order of the day. Let's see some more on Patrice Lumumba, because it seems like certain people have their wires crossed and they don't know what the hell they're talking about.
There, the UN refused to intervene in the so-called internal affair, allowing the Belgian army to remain and prop up the illegitimate regime. This forced Lumumba to invade Katanga with the force publique. The invasion, combined with his wartime restrictions of civil liberties, convinced his opponents that he had gone too far. Lumumba's chief rival outside of Katanga was Joseph Kasavubu, president of the Congo and leader of the most powerful of the tribal parties. Using an obscure law, President Kasavubu removed Lumumba and many of his ministers from office. Lumumba, in turn, called on Parliament, which removed Kasavubu.
The same thing that Noble Drew Ali told you. Your own is going to put you back in slavery. It wasn't some Belgians or whatever. It was a Congolese. Not only a Congolese, the president. They're blaming Europeans for doing something. Ain't no Europeans. His own brother, president of the Congo, used some obscure law to get Lumumba out of power. His own brother talking about some goddamn European did something.
Lumumba and Kasavubu found themselves at a stalemate. Several attempts were made at reconciliation, but Kasavubu refused. In this power vacuum, Colonel Mobutu, senior commander of the Force Publique in Leopoldville, seized control and placed Lumumba under house arrest.
Once again, Noble Drew Ali, your own brother is going to be the one that enslaves your ass. His own brother put him on house arrest. It's not some Belgian whatever. His own.
Hoping to regain power, Lumumba attempted to flee to his center of support in Stanleyville, but was captured by Mobutu's soldiers. The Belgian government arranged for Lumumba to be flown to Elizabethville, the stronghold of Chombe's secessionist forces, ensuring his death. On January 17th, he arrived, bound, badly beaten, and missing his glasses. Now, in front of cameras, he was beaten again and forced to eat a transcript of his Independence Day speech.
Oh, is that a European hand doing that to him? Doesn't look so. That looks like a brother's hand that's doing that to him. Oh, the white man's the devil though, right?
He was never seen nor heard from again. For 4 weeks, no news of Lumumba came out of Katanga. Finally, on February 13th, Shombe issued an obviously false statement concerning Lumumba's death. The world reacted in shock and outrage. Although the Western government saw Lumumba as a communist, to the people of the world he was, and still is, seen as a nationalist, a hero, and after February 13th,
seen as a nationalist and a hero. What is a nationalist? A nationalist is someone that stands up for their nation. Negro, black, and colored are not nations, so Negro, black, and colored cannot be nationalists because there's no such thing as a black nation, a Negro nation, an African nation, or a conscious nation. Either you have a nationality or you are stateless. If you are stateless, that means you're the property of the state that you abandoned your rights to. It is not rocket science. It is very simple. It is very simple. But our people don't like stuff simple. We like stuff advanced. Here we go back to the Moor hater, the self-hating Negro, Shakem Amenhotep Aket, and all his other self-hating Negro friends that support him and support his perspective.
But you got niggas like this riding around with a motherfucking Morris license plate, talking about they in the Lenape territory. You a Morris national. The rights of indigenous peoples. Got your flag of the enemy on that motherfucker. Both of the enemy. You got the Arab enemy flag right up here. So now niggas riding around. Where's my pointer? Now you got niggas riding around with the goddamn Arab symbol on the motherfucker right here. Niggas got the Arab symbol right there. Then below it, you got the symbol of the United States of America. You got the enemy who stole our shit and put it up there. But instead of using your own concoction of what our ancestors taught us, you continue to use their own symbol, but then you want to call yourself an indigenous person.
Use their symbol. I can't stand these African-minded Negroes, these continent-minded conscious Negroes that would admit out of their own mouth that the European came from the cave and he's the devil, but then tell Moors that we're using European stuff. Which one is it? Is he a devil that came out of the cave, or is he the most sophisticated being on the planet? He can't be both. He can't be both. But we'll square y'all up. We'll square y'all up real good.
We need to understand why Noble Drew Ali say enforce that Constitution. That's Moorish law. That Constitution is not English law. One of the games we were talking about on the way over here, one of the tricks of stealing the Moorish birthrights was to convince Moors that they had nothing to do with that Constitution. To convince Moors that that great seal that they see on that dollar bill is European.
Now let's go back again. Keep in mind, his pointer right here, his pointer is on the Great Seal. All right? And he's saying that that belongs to the United States of America. In his mind, Europeans.
And so we disconnect. And by us disconnecting, we actually volunteer or abandon our government. They got their name on us, and so they claim that we have abandoned it. And so they're caretakers of people who have amnesia. And that's legal. That's lawful. They're not really outside the law. We are. And so it is we who need to be redeemed. The European already knows this knowledge. And a lot of them really trying to help. It's just that you can't trust all them forms. But all of them Europeans in general are not dumb of the Great Seal. They know the Great Seal is you. But when we come into this movement, many people think that we came in this movement just to pray or to have some secularism of Islam. There is no secularism in Islam. It is under the corruption, but in reality, there is not. Now, when you become, how would you say, adept. And adept means expert. When you are adept, that means you are master. So if you were to give...
When you are adept, that means you are master. Half of these people that we call conscious are not adept. So they're not masters. So they're not even qualified to teach anybody anything. But they're going to play their little nigger game. They're going to play their little game, right? That they have some type of knowledge of self when they got a license from the European. They got social from the European. They have birth certificate from the European. Forget that you work for yourself. That's not independence if you got a license from the European. How you tell me that you're, well, I don't work for the white man because, I got a table on 125th Street. Yeah, but you got a license. So you work for the white man. Don't tell me crap about you don't work for the white man because you don't have a quote-unquote occupation or job where the white man pays you. If you have a license, you're his property. And again, put it on the record. Please, somebody, get at your boy, Shakem Amenhotep Aket, to put on the record his national identification that says his nationality is Kemetic. I want to see it.
But then you using the enemy's concoction of our symbol instead of just going and using your own shit. So then you're riding around with that. Then here you got the enemy again. You got the United States symbol down there. And then you got some made up shit that look like another goddamn Arab symbol on this motherfucker and talking about the rights of indigenous people.
Now listen to the incompetence that you have coming from somebody who's claiming that they're teaching, right? He's gonna tell you that this right here comes from the Arabs, right? The red flag with the green cedar tree. This should disqualify these people. Go look up Continental Congress. Go look up Bunker Hill flag and tell me what that flag has to do with Arabs. Tell me what that flag has to do with Arabs. We're telling you these people are incompetent. So you've been put on notice. If you choose to still follow them and listen to them, you're on your own. And don't come crying no more. After. Please don't come crying to me. Because I will be the one to laugh in your face and tell you I told you so. Because Moors have been putting out this information to get our people to correct their status. But they don't want to. Why? Because they're listening to dumb Negroes like this guy, Shakem Amenhotep Aket. Calling his continental flag some Arabic stuff. Calling his Great Seal some European thing. Calling his Moroccan flag some Arab thing. When the reality is, Arabs are dark-skinned people, just like Shakem Amenhotep Aket. And there's no such thing as a pale Arab. Pale Arabs don't exist. We'll keep playing your game, and we'll keep sitting here watching you Negroes suffer. And calling you out on your suffering too.
Furthermore, they should know that Negro, black, and colored, etc. are not just misnomers in historical interest or something contrary to truth relative to that, but it is actually a violation of law. If if they understood that from a lawful position, for those who know law, they would seek to correct it on their own without even knowing anything about the Moorish movement. If they knew that much, which is why you see a lot of movement taking place across this country and on the islands right now, is because there's given to them from that perspective, so they can look at this movement how they should have looked at it a long time ago and recognize it is their salvation. For real, not whether they believed it or not. Because they're recognizing the existence of the corporate person, and they recognize that they have no rights in that status, and that they need to fix that. So now, you come into the movement and you're given a hyphen bay, right? Hyphen ill. So if the prophet came and he, we was at a party, right? Now I'm dressed casually because it's raining, right? So I got sneaks on. So one's a Nike and one's Adidas, right? So I think I'm heavy, I'm happening, But somebody know better say, brother, shoes don't match, brother. Now if I get insulted, man, what you talking about? My shoes don't match. They look good to me. One's going that way and one's, one's high, one's low. Now so the prophet gives you your title back, and then you begin to study, and you come from belief to faith, and you become stronger. Then you study, and then you become to the level of fruition, which you become what you know, which means you understand this thing. You don't need belief. Doesn't mean somebody coming in doesn't need belief. You don't need belief because you're no longer a slave. You're not a slave to the ignorance.
You're not a slave to that ignorance. So this is for people who don't want to be slaves to the ignorance. If you want to be slaves to the ignorance and continue listening to people calling their Bunker Hill flag Arabic and calling the Great Seal, which is a pyramid, which has nothing to do with Europeans, because we already know, quote unquote, black people built the pyramids. So how is this quote unquote black guy, right, who's conscious of his ancient Kemetic history based on the so-called name that he has, Amenhotep and all that, he should know that Europeans didn't build the pyramids. Matter of fact, if Kemetic people built the pyramids, wouldn't it be common sense for you to claim anything that has a pyramid on it as yours, since you're the ones that built pyramids? But nah, they're not going to do that. Why? Because they fear their God, the European. They're not going to tell you that. I'm telling you that. They fear their God, the European. That's why they haven't killed one yet. Because they fear him. And they can play all these games all they want, coming at their brothers who are trying to bring them the knowledge of their self, the knowledge of their birthrights and their nationality. They're going to come kill us. They're going to come beat us up in videos, but they would never go at that European. They would never call him they would always call him out of his name. They would never identify him as what he is, whether it's Dutch, French, German, Scottish, English, British. They'll never call him by his natal origin. They are always going to create some fiction, white man, cracker, devil, and say that they're going after the boogeyman in the closet. And you want to know why you keep having nightmares every night. But they did something to the boogeyman, but you have nightmares every night. But they went in the closet and they kicked the boogeyman out the closet, and they went under the bed and they dragged the boogeyman out the bed and they took him to the kitchen and they put him down the drain and let him get cut up in the drain. But every night your children's calling you talking about, something's in the room. Frauds. They'll keep playing this game, but their game is over. That's why they're coming out with so much of this BS information, because their game's over. And it's either you're going to proclaim your nationality or you will be property to this dissolving corporation called the United States, especially if you're Negro, black, colored. That's a fact, Jack.
Now, all of that shouldn't be good, right? There's nothing wrong with this inherently. But what's actually wrong with this is the fact that there has not been that bloodshed. There hasn't been that vision, or there hasn't been that force behind that declaration that we will be free. There has not been any major economic blow to the foundation of a government that...
There has been no major economic blow? How about you niggers stop paying taxes to the IRS? There's an economic blow. How about you niggers stop paying fines? Because half of the, go check the record, half of the finance that the United States corporation brings in order for them to do whatever they want to do is by fines or suing people for violating statutes and codes and taxes. And if you studied the Constitution, like Noble Drew Ali told you Negroes to do, you would know in the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, that Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes. Congress shall have the power to lay and collect taxes, according to the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land, that all these so-called U.S. corporate bodies take an oath to uphold. So if you're not going to hold them to the thing that they take an oath to, why would they honor it if you're not holding them to it? Oh, but you can't hold them to it because you think that Constitution comes from the white man. When we told you in the beginning, or the master teacher told you in his first video, that the Constitution comes from Moorish law. And the whole plan of the European is to try to get Negro, black, colored people to disconnect from it. Just like Shakem, Amenhotep Aket is doing right now and acting right now. Like that has nothing to do with him, when it has everything to do with him. But they're going to play their nigger game. If you want to play nigger games, go right ahead. Don't try to draw Moors in that, because we will be beating you guys up with your ignorance and your incompetence.
All right, so that means it's not inferior to any of the other laws that they may purport or present. Article 6 of the Constitution says what? The judges of every state shall be bound thereby. Right? Judicial branch, legislative branch, etc., 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 and any laws of any of the states to the contrary notwithstanding, which means they can't stand against it. So what occurs when you keep waving it and they keep telling you it's democracy and you won't contest that? So now they got military law, pirate law of the seas, and they're playing it on you, and they're getting you to agree with it, and then they execute military tribunals.
So any court really allowed to hear is the Supreme Court?
It's the only true law. Now you understand why Moors have cases, they always go to a federal court, because the state court is illegitimate. Unless it's delegated.
Under Article 6, how can he give delegation of authority from Supreme Court to a district court?
Now it's called a delegation of authority order. It's a certificate. Meaning just the way they command licenses from you, you have right to command them to produce their license, and their license to run the court under judicial powers only would be inclusive of a delegation of authority order, DOAO, and must be produced upon a challenge, i.e. you've just challenged the jurisdiction of that court.
We humbly ask that people, if you have a brain in your head and you have a mind connected to the Akashic records, that you use your goddamn common sense and stop listening to conscious Negroes trying to tell you that you're not Moors. Stop listening to conscious Negroes trying to tell you go out there and go kill somebody and go fight and go start some war when they're not doing it. Moors are going out there and we're presenting our paperwork and our nationality cards at the risk of being arrested for that. So we're speaking from experience. We're speaking from things that we've done. We're not speaking from assumption. We're speaking from we've done this. That's why we talk how we talk. Find me a black guy that says that they're conscious. Find me an African liberation guy that killed a European. You won't find one. Stop playing games. This is nationality and birthrights time right now for those who are competent. On the other hand, Noble Drew Ali did say that there's only going to be a handful saved with fingers left over. So we're really not expecting too much, because we already know that those who want to be saved, they don't talk about it. Those who want to be saved, save themselves. Islam.